I'm Erin. I'm the marketing lead at Seer Interactive. I am here in San Diego the day before our first digital marketing conference. I am excited and terrified, and I'm ready to talk about planning our first event.
You nailed it on the first time.
Nailed it. The business question that was put in front of us is how can we create more of an awareness in San Diego for Seer. So Seer is an East Coast company for 15 years, is operated out of the East Coast, out of Philadelphia, and we wanted to bring the same values and the same awareness that the Philadelphia side of our business has in San Diego, now that we have this brand new space in the East Village. So throwing an event wasn't necessarily our first idea, it was something that was always in the cards, and I actually think the most important step we took before throwing an event was meeting people in our community. So through the power of an introduction, Will introduced me to Lindsay Lachelle, one of our wonderful speakers, who introduced me to her friend Kareem, who runs an organization called Business for Good that we now participate with. And Kareem introduced me to Ann and Nicole at Think Dignity. So our partnerships and making sure that we are aware of what's going on in our community and how we can be a better business for the community by listening to the folks that we're making these partnerships with actually eventually led us to being able to actually have an event with this ethos and with these partners. We decided to create a one-day digital marketing conference called Seerfest. With this conference, we knew that there's a lot of digital marketing conferences that go on across the country all year long, and we knew that we needed to make ours different, and we knew that the differences needed to involve the values of Seer. So we took that problem and started thinking through, what are the values of Seer? We want to create content that helps people be better at their job, be better at helping their clients, be better at making their business successful. We want to make that content accessible at a very, very low price or free, and we want to make sure that we are affecting our community as a whole in a positive way. So what we decided to do was create $100 tickets, finagle a way that we could donate 99 of those dollars to a charity that really felt like a good partner for Seer. So my one hot tip, if you are deciding to plan an event, would be to do it more than 2 months before having the event. I definitely think a nice lead time, maybe 4 months, would probably be a little more of a cushion. I think 2 months is enough to get it done, but it's definitely a crunch. If you can get an event planner who's done this before, that would be absolutely an angle to go. I am throwing our first conference when I've been to one conference. Thank goodness I'm not throwing it alone. I have Charlene Ditch, who has run MozCons before, many MozCons, many other events, and she's just an industry veteran and she is our saving grace. But I also have our entire Seer team behind us, so talking to people who have been to conferences is super important. Making sure they've talked to you about the friction points they've experienced as an attendee at conferences to ensure that you can create experiences based on these learnings. So one of the things we wanted to do with Seerfest is prove out KPIs, which is kind of hard when it comes to the event space. So as we get through Seerfest and as we sort of gauge the success of it, we've started thinking through what are these things we're going to measure outside of just attendee count and people who signed up and didn't come. So getting a measurement KPI similar to a cost per impression or a cost per click that you would have for PPC is super important when you go to the people who are going to say, okay, you want to do Seerfest 2? Tell me how Seerfest 1 went and tell me why it's a good business decision. So while we as a company will make decisions based off of the value to the community, which we hope Seerfest will provide a lot of, we also need to be able to make a business case for spending the money. So making sure to measure that up front and come up with whatever your KPI is at the end, cost per attendee, creating engagement surveys afterwards to follow up and being able to have enough information to compile in a deck to send your finance people and say, we want to do this again, that's a really important part of this as well. So this has been our first episode of Seer Solves It. In order to keep doing these, I need to prove out some KPIs, so if you guys could go and hit the subscribe button, that would be great. If you want to learn more about how Seerfest went, check out Miley's blog. That's going to be somewhere around here. Give that a click and that'll tell you. Thanks for coming out.